Kim Tae pushed through the heavy doors of the Void's End cantina. The smell hit him first. A mix of alien sweat, strange foods, and recycled air. Behind him, Park Jin and Lee Na followed, their boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. Tournée. Cantina was huge. Tables filled the space and creatures from dozens of different worlds sat drinking and talking. Some looked like giant bugs. Others were made of what seemed like living crystal. A few had fur and walked on four legs like cats, but they were as big as humans. "Find us a table," Tae said to his friends. "I'll get the drinks." Park Jin nodded and looked around. Most aliens kept to their own kind. The bug-like creatures sat together in one corner. The crystal beings had their own section near the windows. The cat-like aliens lounged on special cushions. "Busy night," Lee Na said, checking her medical bag. She always carried it everywhere. You never knew when someone might need help. Tae walked to the bar. The bartender was something he had never seen before, purple skin and 6 arms. Each arm moved independently, mixing drinks and cleaning glasses at the same time. 3 human ales, Tae said. The bartender's multiple eyes looked at him. 20 credits, it said in perfect English. The translator in Tae's ear made all languages sound normal. Tae paid and picked up the 3 glasses. They were cold and heavy. He turned around and started walking back to where Jin and Na were sitting. The cantina was more crowded now. More aliens had come in during the few minutes he was at the bar. He had to squeeze between tables. Some aliens moved their chairs to give him room. Others ignored him completely. Tae was used to this. Humans were new to most of these species. Some were curious, some didn't care. Near his table, Tae had to walk past a group of the bug-like creatures. They were bigger up close. Their shells were dark green and shiny. Sharp claws clicked against the table as they drank from tall glasses. Tae tried to step around them carefully, but just as he passed the largest one, another alien bumped into him from behind. Tae stumbled forward. The ale in his hand splashed out of the glasses. The cold liquid hit the big bug creature right on its shell. Everything went quiet. The bug creature, Tae remembered they were called Thurlians, stood up, slowly. It was huge, at least 7 feet tall and almost as wide. Its forearms ended in sharp claws. Its eyes were black and reflected the cantina lights. "You," it said in a deep voice that buzzed like machinery. "Human." Tae set the glasses down on a nearby table. "Sorry about that," he said, pulling out a cloth. "Let me clean that up for you." The Thurlian stepped back. "Do not touch me." Other aliens at nearby tables turned to watch. The conversations got quieter. Tae felt everyone looking at them. "Look, it was an accident," Tae said. He kept his voice calm and friendly. "Someone bumped into me. I didn't mean to spill anything on you." The Thurlian's mandibles clicked together. "You have insulted my honor." "Your honor?" Tae looked confused. "I just spilled some beer on you. It's not a big deal." More Thurlians stood up. There were 5 of them total. Their chairs scraped against the floor with loud sounds. Park Jin got up from his table and walked over. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem," Tae said. "Just a small accident." The biggest Thurlian looked at Park Jin, then back at Tae. "In our culture, to spill drink on warrior is great insult. You must fight me to restore honor." Lee Na joined them now. She looked small next to the huge aliens. "Fight? Over spilled beer?" "It's not about the beer," said a new voice. One of the crystal beings had approached them. It was tall and thin, made of what looked like clear blue rock. Light seemed to come from inside it. "It's about respect between species," the crystal being continued talking. "I am Korth of the Hegemony Council. The Thurlian speaks truth. In their culture, spilling liquid on warrior is serious insult." Tae looked around. More aliens were watching now. Some of the cat-like creatures had stopped eating to stare. A group of slug-like aliens with wet skin were making nervous noises. "But I said I was sorry," Tae said. "It was an accident. I don't want to fight anyone." The big Thurlian, his name was Vex, Tay heard another one call him, clicked his claws together. Apology not enough. Honor must be restored with combat. This is crazy, Park Jin said. We're just cargo haulers. We don't know anything about your honor codes. Korth's crystal body glowed brighter. Ignorance is not excuse. When different species meet, they must respect each other's ways. Li Na stepped forward. What if we pay for cleaning? Or buy drinks for everyone? There has to be some other way to solve this. The Thurlians made angry, buzzing sounds. Vex's eyes got darker. You think honor can be bought with credits? Well, yeah, Tay said. I mean, what's honor worth if you can't put a price on it? The buzzing got louder. Some of the other aliens made shocked noises. Korth's crystal body flashed red. You make it worse, Korth said. You insult not just Thurlians now, but all species who value honor. One of the cat-like aliens, they were called Phylaxians, jumped onto a table. I bet 50 credits the human. Runs away, it yelled. 100 credits says the Thurlian wins in 10 seconds, another Phylaxian shouted back. Now the slug-like aliens were secreting some kind of slime. The smell made everyone more nervous. Their translator couldn't handle their language when they were excited, so they just made wet, gurgling sounds. Security. Drones dropped from the ceiling. They were small flying machines with cameras and speakers. Attention, one drone announced. Interspecies conflict detected. All participants must remain calm while diplomatic representatives are contacted. Great, Jin said. Now we're in real trouble. How long does that take? Li Na asked. The drone answered her. Standard diplomatic response time is 72 to 96 hours depending on availability of translators and cultural consultants. 4 days, Tay said. We have a delivery to make. Vex stepped closer. His claws extended. No more talking. You fight now or you are coward. The other Thurlians surrounded them. The crystal beings moved to block the exits. Even the Phylaxians stopped taking bets and watched with bright eyes. Tay looked at his friends. Jin was checking his tool belt. Na had her medical bag ready. They had been in tough spots before, but never anything like this. Well, Tay said, rolling up his sleeves. I guess we're doing this the hard way. The cantina held its breath. Dozens of different species watched 3 humans face down a group of warrior aliens twice their size. None of them knew that they were about to witness something that would change how the entire galaxy thought about Earth's children. The fight was about to begin. Vex raised his forearms. His claws caught the cantina lights and gleamed like knives. The other Thurlians spread out in a circle around the humans. Their shells made clicking sounds as they moved. Wait, Tay said, holding up his hands. Can we talk about this? Maybe work out some kind of deal? The big Thurlian tilted his head. In their culture, this was the time for formal combat speeches. Warriors were supposed to declare their strength and list their victories. Instead, the human was still trying to bargain. There is no deal, Vex said. Only honor. Park Jin looked around at all the watching aliens. What exactly are the rules here? Do we fight all of you at once? One at a time? Are weapons allowed? The Thurlians buzzed with confusion. The crystal, being Korth, glowed brighter with annoyance. You do not know combat protocols? Korth asked. How do your species solve disputes? Usually with lawyers, Li Na said. The slug-like aliens made wet laughing sounds. The Phylaxians' ears twitched with amusement. Even some of the other creatures seemed to find this funny. Vex was not amused. You mock our ways. No, Tay said quickly. We're not mocking anything. We just do things differently on Earth. When someone spills a drink, we usually just say sorry and maybe buy them a new one. And if that doesn't work? Asked one of the smaller Thurlians. Jin shrugged. Then we call the police. Police? Korth's crystal body flickered different colors as his translator worked on the concept. Enforcers. But what if the insult requires personal satisfaction? Then we might have a fistfight behind the building, Tay said. But usually we just avoid each other after that. The aliens looked at each other with confusion. Their species had complex honor systems that went back thousands of years. The idea of just avoiding someone after a conflict was strange. A Phylaxian jumped onto another table to get a better view. So humans don't have honor duels? Not really, Na said. We have sports instead. Boxing, wrestling, martial arts. If you want to fight someone, you can do it safely with rules and referees. Referees? Vex's mandibles clicked rapidly. Other beings who judge combat? Yeah, Jin said. They make sure nobody gets seriously hurt and that everyone follows the rules. The cantina erupted in noise. Aliens started talking in their own languages. The translators couldn't keep up with all the different voices. The security drones kept announcing for everyone to stay calm, but nobody was listening. Korth's crystal body turned bright orange. This is chaos. How do you maintain social order without proper combat protocols? We vote on stuff, Tay said. And we have laws, courts, judges. But what about personal honor? Another Thurlian asked. What about it? Lena said. If someone insults you, you can insult them back, or ignore them, or challenge them to a game of chess. Chess? The aliens had never heard of this. It's a war game, Jin explained. You move little pieces around a board and try to capture the other person's king. Very strategic, lots of thinking. The Phylaxians were now placing bets on whether the humans were serious or just very good at psychological warfare. The slug aliens had stopped secreting stress slime and started producing what looked like curiosity mucus instead. Vex slammed his claws on a nearby table. The metal bent under the impact. Enough talk. You have insulted me. We fight now. He charged forward with all four arms extended. This was the standard Thurlian attack pattern, overwhelming force from multiple angles. Most species would either run away or try to block all four strikes at once. Tay did neither. He grabbed a chair and swung it sideways into Vex's legs. The big alien crashed to the floor with a sound like falling rocks. He had never encountered an opponent who used furniture as weapons. In Thurlian combat, warriors used only their natural claws and strength. Hey, shouted the bartender. That chair cost credits. Sorry, Tay called back. I'll pay for damages. The other Thurlians stared. Their battle leader was on the ground, tangled up in the broken chair. This was not how combat was supposed to work. Park Jin was already moving. He didn't wait for the next Thurlian to attack. Instead, he grabbed a bottle from a nearby table and threw it at the ceiling lights. Sparks flew, and the area got darker. What are you doing? Korth demanded. Combat requires proper lighting for witnesses. We're not following your combat rules, Jin said, pulling tools from his belt. We're following human rules. What are human rules? Asked a Phylaxian. Li Na was helping Tai untangle Vex from the chair pieces. Even though they were fighting, she checked to make sure the alien wasn't seriously hurt. Rule 1, she said. Don't let anyone get killed if you can help it. Rule 2, Tay added, picking up another chair as the remaining Thurlians approached more carefully. Use whatever works. Rule 3, Jin said, doing something to his tool that made it spark with electricity. There are no fair fights, only fights you win or lose. The aliens went quiet again. Every species in the galaxy had honor codes about fair combat. The idea of deliberately fighting unfairly was shocking to them. But the humans weren't done surprising them. Rule 4, Tay continued, now holding a broken table leg like a club. Help your friends. The three humans moved to stand back to back. Jin's improvised electric weapon hummed with power. Na had pulled out some kind of medical device that looked like it could be painful if used wrong. Tay spun his makeshift club like he knew how to use it. The Thurlians had never faced opponents who worked as a team, while also breaking all the rules of honorable combat. They were used to single warriors who followed predictable patterns. This is not combat, Vex said, getting back to his feet. This is chaos. Welcome to humanity, Tay said with a grin. That's when the real fighting started. A Phylaxian knocked over a table trying to get a better camera angle for recording the fight. A slug alien accidentally slipped on his own slime and crashed into a group of crystal beings. The security drones tried to restore order, but couldn't process so many rule violations at once. And in the middle of it all, 3 humans prepared to show an entire cantina full of aliens that Earth's children didn't fight like anyone else in the galaxy. The second Thurlian charged at Park Jin. The alien moved in the classic attack pattern, high strikes with the top arms, low strikes with the bottom arms. Jin watched the pattern for 2 seconds, then did something unexpected. He dropped to the floor and slid between the Thurlian's legs like he was stealing second base. The alien stumbled forward, confused. Where did the human go? In his culture, warriors faced each other directly. They didn't disappear beneath you. Jin popped up behind the Thurlian and pressed his electric tool against the alien's shell. Sparks flew. The Thurlian made a sound like a broken motor and fell forward. "Jin!" Tay yelled. "Duck!" Another Thurlian had thrown a heavy glass at Jin's head. Jin dropped just in time. The glass flew over him and smashed into the wall. Li Na was having her own problems. 2 smaller Thurlians had decided she looked like an easy target. They approached her carefully, claws extended, expecting her to run or scream. Instead, she pulled out a medical injector from her bag. "This is a high-dose stimulant," she told them calmly, "designed for emergency medical situations. But if I inject it into your nerve cluster, you'll have enough energy to run around the station 3 times before your heart explodes." The Thurlians stopped moving. They weren't sure if she was serious, but the small device in her hand looked dangerous. "Is that true?" one of them asked. "Want to find out?" Na replied. Meanwhile, Tay was learning that fighting a 7-foot bug warrior was harder than it looked. Vex had recovered from his fall and was angry now. His attacks came faster and from different angles, but Tay had grown up in Earth's colony worlds. He'd been in bar fights before. The trick wasn't to be stronger than your opponent. The trick was to be smarter. When Vex swung with his right arms, Tay stepped left. When the alien tried to grab him, Tay spun away. He kept moving, never staying in one place long enough for the big Thurlian to land a solid hit. "Stand still and fight," Vex demanded. "Why?" Tay asked, swinging his makeshift club at Vex's knee joint. "This is working fine for me." The watching. Aliens couldn't believe what they were seeing. The humans fought like no species they had ever encountered. They used the environment. They worked together. They adapted their tactics every few seconds. A Phylaxian was recording everything on a small device. "This is going to be the most popular fight video in the galaxy," she said to her friend. But the fight was getting bigger. The slug aliens had gotten excited and started secreting more slime. The floor became slippery, a crystal being slipped and crashed into a table, shattering into several pieces. "My arm!" the crystal being cried out. "Someone help me put it back on." Li Na looked over. Even though she was still threatening the 2 Thurlians with her injector, she couldn't ignore someone who was hurt. "Tay. Jin. Medical emergency." The 2 men immediately changed their fighting style. Jin used his electric tool to drive back the Thurlians threatening Na, while Tay created a protective circle around the injured crystal being. Na dropped to her knees next to the alien. "Don't worry, I've treated crystal beings before. Your arm just attached at the joint, I can fix it." She pulled out a special bonding compound from her medical kit. The crystal being's arm began to glow as she reattached it. The other aliens stopped, fighting, and stared. The humans were protecting someone who wasn't even on their side. This made no sense in any of their cultural frameworks. "Why do you help him?" asked one of the Phylaxians. "He is not your pack member." "Because he's hurt," Na said simply, still working on the crystal arm. "That's what medics do." A slug alien slipped on his own slime again and slid across the floor into a wall. Na looked up from her patient. "Jin, can you help that slug? I think he might have a concussion." "I'm a little busy," Jin called back. He was now fighting 3 Thurlians at once, using chairs as shields and tables as barriers, but he still found time to grab the slug alien and pull him to safety behind an overturned table. This confused the Thurlians even more. Their opponents kept stopping the fight to help people. How could you defeat enemies who cared more about casualties than victory? Vex was getting frustrated. Every time he thought he had Tay cornered, the human would do something unexpected. "Use the furniture," Tay change direction suddenly, even help wounded aliens while dodging attacks. What kind of warriors are you? Vex demanded. We're not warriors, Tay said, hitting him with a chair leg. We're cargo haulers. Then why do you fight so well? Practice, Jin said from across the room. He had somehow rewired one of the security drones to spray foam at the Thurlians instead of just recording them. The foam was slippery and got in the aliens' eyes. They stumbled around, bumping into each other. The humans used this confusion to regroup near the center of the cantina. This is not combat, Korth declared. His crystal body was flashing angry red colors. This is improvisation, Li Na supplied helpfully. Cheating, Korth finished. We prefer to call it creative problem solving, Tay said. More security drones had arrived, but Jin had figured out their control codes. Soon half the drones were working for the humans, creating barriers and providing cover. The remaining Thurlians tried to regroup, but they were used to formal combat patterns. The humans kept changing tactics, using new weapons, helping enemies, and generally breaking every rule of warfare they had ever learned. A young Phylaxian near the bar raised her paw. Excuse me, she said. Is this how all humans fight? Pretty much, Tay said, using a reprogrammed drone to push a stunned Thurlian into a pile of soft cushions so he wouldn't get hurt when he fell. It's very confusing, the Phylaxian said. That's the point, Jin replied. By now the cantina was in complete chaos, but it was organized chaos. The humans had created safe zones for injured aliens, clear paths for non-combatants to escape, and somehow managed to keep the actual damage to a minimum. The Thurlians were exhausted and confused. They had never fought opponents who seemed to care more about everyone's safety than about winning. And that's when Captain Ilix arrived with station security. The hegemony officer stood in the doorway, looking at the scene before him. 3 humans surrounded by helpful security drones, treating wounded aliens while keeping dangerous ones safely contained in foam barriers. It was unlike any combat aftermath he had ever seen. What, he said slowly, is going on here? Captain Ilix was a veteran of the Crystal Hegemony security forces. He had seen bar fights before. Usually he expected to find broken furniture, injured beings, and clear winners and losers. Sometimes there were bodies. What he found instead made him question everything he knew about combat. 3 humans sat in the middle of the cantina, surrounded by organized chaos. Li Na was treating a Thurlian's cracked shell with some kind of medical gel. Park Jin was helping a slug alien clean slime out of his breathing holes. Kim Tae was discussing repair costs with the 6-armed bartender. The security drones hovered in neat formations, creating barriers and safe zones. The foam they had sprayed was already dissolving, releasing confused but unharmed Thurlians who sat on cushions looking dazed. Report, Ilix said to his crystal body deputy, Officer Nexus. Nexus's blue glow flickered as he scanned the scene. Sir, we have approximately 30 beings involved in what appears to be, I'm not sure what to call it. A fight? Ilix suggested. Well, yes, but also medical treatment, equipment repair, crowd control, and property damage assessment. All happening at the same time. Ilix walked over to where Vex sat on a pile of cushions. The big Thurlian's shell was cracked in 2 places, but someone had already applied medical patches. His eyes were clear, and he didn't seem to be in pain. Warrior Vex, Ilix said formally. What happened here? Vex looked up at the security captain. His mandibles clicked slowly as he tried to find words. The humans, he said finally. They fought wrong. Wrong? They used furniture. They helped enemies. They reprogrammed our drones. Vex gestured with one claw toward Jin, who was now teaching a young Phylaxian how the security system worked. That one turned our own defenses against us. So they won? Ilix asked. Vex was quiet for a long moment. I do not know. We fought, but they also healed us. They defeated us, but they protected us. How can someone win and lose at the same time? Ilix turned to Korth, who was standing nearby with his crystal arm freshly repaired. Counselor Korth, you witnessed this incident? I witnessed something, Korth replied. His body was cycling through confused colors, purple, orange, blue, then back to purple. But I cannot categorize it properly. Explain. The humans violated every principle of interspecies combat, Korth said. They showed no respect for honor codes, formal challenges, or proper weapons. They used improvised tools, environmental advantages, and coordinated tactics. That sounds like they won. But they also provided medical aid to their opponents during the fight, Korth continued. They created safe zones for non-combatants. They minimized property damage. They even helped injured beings from species they had never met before. One of the Phylaxians bounded over to them. She was young, with bright golden fur and excited eyes. "Captain," she said, "you have to see the recordings. The humans fought like what?" Ilix asked. Like they were solving a puzzle instead of fighting a war. She showed him her recording device. Ilix watched the footage and saw what she meant. The humans didn't fight with rage or honor or bloodlust. They fought like engineers tackling a complex problem. When the Thurlians attacked in predictable patterns, the humans learned those patterns and countered them. When the environment became dangerous, they adapted it to their advantage. When someone got hurt, they fixed the injury and continued fighting. "Sir," Officer Nexus said, "I'm receiving reports from other stations. Word of this incident is spreading through the communication networks." "What kind of reports?" "Military analysis requests, cultural studies inquiries. 3 different governments want copies of the security footage." Ilix looked around the cantina again. The humans had finished their medical work and were now helping the bartender calculate repair costs. They seemed completely unaware that they had done anything unusual. A group of slug aliens had gathered, in one corner secreting what looked like discussion mucus. Their translator was working overtime to process their rapid conversations. "What are they saying?" Ilix asked his deputy. Nexus listened for a moment. "They're debating whether the humans are the most dangerous species they've ever encountered, or the most helpful, and what conclusion are they reaching?" "Both." More security personnel arrived, including representatives from different alien governments. A Thurlian military attaché, a Phylaxian cultural observer, even a slug delegation from the Mucus Collective. They all wanted to interview the humans. Tay looked up from his conversation with the bartender. "Is there a problem, officer?" Ilix studied the human. Average height, no natural weapons, no obvious enhancements. He looked completely ordinary. "I'm trying to understand what happened here," Ilix said. "Bar fight," Tay said simply. "Someone got offended, things got out of hand, we dealt with it." "You dealt with it by simultaneously fighting and healing your opponents?" Tay looked confused. "Well, yeah. Just because you're fighting someone doesn't mean you want them to die. That would be crazy." The alien representatives all made notes on their various recording devices. This statement would be analyzed by military strategists across the galaxy. Park Jin joined them, wiping grease from his hands. "The security system is back to normal," he reported. "Though I made a few improvements to the response protocols. Should work better next time." "You improved our security system?" Officer Nexus asked. "During a fight?" "It wasn't very good," Jin said honestly. "Took me about 5 minutes to hack it. You might want to upgrade your encryption." More notes were taken. The humans had just casually revealed that their species could break advanced alien security systems as a side project during combat. Li Na was packing up her medical kit. "Everyone should be fine," she announced to the cantina. "The Thurlians need to keep those patches on for a few days. The crystal beings should avoid heavy impacts until their repair bonds set. The slugs should drink plenty of fluids to replace lost mucus." She had just provided better medical care than most planetary emergency services. Captain Ilix realized he was witnessing something unprecedented. These 3 ordinary humans had fought an entire cantina full of aliens and somehow left everyone better off than when they started. "Sir," Officer Nexus whispered, "what do we put in the report?" Ilix looked around one more time. The cantina was actually cleaner than before the fight. The injured aliens were treated and comfortable. The security system was improved. Even the bartender seemed happy about the repair payment. "I have no idea," Ilix admitted. That's when he noticed the news drones arriving outside. Word had spread beyond just government channels. The entire galaxy was about to learn about the humans who fought by helping their enemies. And somewhere, in the depths of space, military commanders and intelligence officers were already asking the same question. If humans could do this in a simple bar fight, what would they do in a real war? 3 weeks later, Kim Tae was trying to enjoy a quiet meal on his cargo ship when his communication system started buzzing with incoming messages. "Jin," he called toward the engine room. "Are you expecting any calls?" Park Jin emerged from behind a control panel, wiping his hands on a rag. "No. Why?" "We've got 17 different governments trying to contact us. Also something called the Galactic Military Analysis Institute and a news organization from the Phylaxian Broadcasting Network." Lee Na looked up from her medical journals. "They're probably still asking about that bar fight." "That was 3 weeks ago," Tae said. "Why won't they let it go?" None of them understood that their small cantina scuffle had become the most studied combat incident in galactic history. On Thurlia Prime, General Crack stood before a room full of military commanders, watching security footage for the 100th time. "Notice how the humans adapt their tactics every few seconds," he pointed out to his officers. "They don't follow any predetermined combat doctrine. They create new strategies in real time." One of his subordinates raised a claw. "Sir, what if we face humans in actual combat?" General Crax was quiet for a moment. "Our entire military is based on honor codes and traditional tactics. Against humans, those traditions become predictable weaknesses." He paused the footage at the moment when Tae used a chair to trip Vex. "They don't fight to prove themselves," he continued. "They fight to win. That makes them extremely dangerous." On the Crystal Hegemony homeworld, Counselor Korth was addressing the Galactic Council. "The humans displayed what they called creative problem-solving," he reported. "They treated combat as an engineering challenge rather than a cultural ritual." The council members glowed with different colors as they processed this information. "But they also provided aid to wounded enemies," pointed out another counselor. "This suggests they don't view other species as true threats." "Which is either very naive or very confident," Korth replied. "Given their combat performance, I believe. It's confidence." In the Phylaxian sectors, the recordings had become entertainment. Young Phylaxians watched the fight videos and tried to copy the humans' improvised tactics. It became a new sport called human-style fighting. But the older Phylaxians saw something more troubling. "They turned our own curiosity against us," observed Pack Leader Whiskers during a strategic meeting. "While we were watching and recording, they were learning about all of us." "Learning what?" asked a younger officer. "How we move, how we think, how we react under pressure." Whiskers replayed the part where Jin had reprogrammed the security drones. "That human studied our technology and improved it during combat. In 5 minutes, he understood our systems better than we do." The slug beings of the Mucus Collective had perhaps the most concerning analysis. Their senior strategist, an ancient slug named Glorp, secreted thoughtful slime as he addressed his colleagues. The humans showed no respect for established combat traditions, he said. This suggests they would not honor war treaties or surrender protocols either. But they helped injured beings, another slug pointed out. Yes, which means they can be simultaneously compassionate and ruthless. They will heal you while defeating you. This is the most dangerous combination possible. Meanwhile, intelligence, agencies across the galaxy were reaching similar conclusions. On a secret station in neutral space, Agent Zadik of the Void Watchers compiled the final report. Humans represent a new category of threat, he wrote. They possess advanced technology, adaptive tactics, and the ability to turn any environment into a weapon. But they also show genuine care for other species' welfare. He attached the Cantina security footage to his report. Recommendation: avoid all military conflict with humans. They do not fight to win territory or resources. They fight to solve the problem of your existence as an obstacle. This makes negotiation impossible and surrender meaningless. Back on their cargo ship, the three humans were completely unaware of the galactic concern they had caused. Hey, Li Na said, looking. At her message screen, the Medical Academy of Antares wants to interview me about combat first aid techniques. Combat first aid? Tay asked. You just helped some people who got hurt in a fight. Apparently that's unusual, Na said. Most species either fight until someone wins, or they provide medical care afterward. Doing both at the same time is considered impossible. Jin's communication system beeped. The Thurlian Military Academy wants to hire me as a tactical innovation consultant, he reported. What would you teach them? Tay asked. How to use furniture as weapons, I guess, and basic security system hacking. Tay shook his head. Aliens are weird. His own message system showed requests from news organizations, military academies, and something called the Interspecies Cultural Understanding Initiative. They want to study us, he said. Why? Li Na asked. Says here they want to understand human approaches to conflict resolution. We don't have any special approaches, Jin said. We just try to fix problems with the least amount of damage possible. Maybe that's what makes us special, Na suggested. They were interrupted by an urgent message from station control at Nexus Station. Attention human vessel, came the voice of Captain Ilix. Please respond immediately. Tay activated the communication link. This is the cargo vessel Earth's Dream. What's the emergency? No emergency, Ilix replied. But I have been instructed by the Galactic Council to offer you 3 positions as interspecies conflict resolution specialists. The humans looked at each other. What does that job involve? Tay asked. Stopping wars before they start? The Council believes that human methods could prevent many conflicts. Our methods? Jin said. We just got into a bar fight. Yes, Ilix said, and somehow everyone involved ended up better off than before the fight started. The Council finds this useful. Li Na leaned toward the communicator. What's the pay? Enough to buy your own space station. They were quiet for a moment. Can we think about it? Tay finally asked. Of course, but please decide quickly. 3. Different species are about to declare war over mining rights in the Vega sector. The Council hopes human intervention might help them find a better solution. After Ilix signed off, the 3 humans sat in their cargo bay, thinking. We could help a lot of people, Na said. We could also get killed, Jin pointed out. We could get killed hauling cargo too, Tay said. At least this way we'd be making a difference. Outside their ship, the galaxy continued to debate the human question. Military strategists developed new doctrines to counter human unpredictability. Diplomats created protocols for negotiating with beings who might heal you while fighting you. But in a small cargo vessel drifting through space, 3 ordinary humans were just trying to decide if they wanted a career change. They had no idea that their decision would determine whether the galaxy's future would be shaped by ancient codes of honor and traditional warfare, or by the strange human concept of fighting to help your enemies. The bar fight was over, but its consequences were just beginning. In military academies across a dozen worlds, a new lesson was being taught. When fighting humans, remember, they are not trying to defeat you. They are trying to solve you. And once a problem is solved, it stays solved. The galaxy would never look at conflict the same way again.